The debate over which turkey to raise consistently causes headaches for producers around the world. On one side, we have the commercial broad-breasted white, an absolute meat-producing powerhouse meticulously designed to reach incredible market weights in record time. On the other side, we find the heritage black turkey, a resilient and rustic bird that has survived on our homesteads for generations without intense industrial intervention. Choosing between these distinct options is not just a matter of personal preference. It is a fundamental decision that completely defines how you will manage your entire farming operation. Many new producers make the critical mistake of buying commercial poults thinking they can raise them freely on pasture with kitchen scraps, or they purchase heritage birds expecting to harvest massive breasts in just a few short months. As experienced farmers, we know understanding the biological reality of each bird is the only true way to avoid wasting money, effort, and valuable time. Today we will break down feed conversion, natural reproduction, and practical characteristics so you can make the best decision for your specific farm. Let's begin. The broad-breasted white turkey dominates the current market for a simple reason that every producer understands when analyzing profit margins. This genetic line was created specifically to yield maximum meat in minimum time, making it the most profitable option if your business model relies on sheer volume. Its defining characteristic is an exceptional ability to convert formulated feed into live weight. We are talking about a feed conversion ratio, where for every 2.5 pounds of commercial rations consumed, the bird gains roughly 1 pound of body mass. This aggressive metabolism allows the commercial tom to exceed 45 pounds in just 20 weeks of constant rearing. However, this growth advantage demands a strict management protocol. This turkey grows so fast that it requires an intense dietary regimen, with protein levels exceeding 28% during its initial stages. If you attempt to feed it cracked corn or garden scraps, its skeletal structure will fail to support that massive chest weight, leading to severe leg issues and inevitable culling. It requires a climate-controlled barn environment and continuous access to high-quality commercial feed. This specialized approach maximizes daily returns and guarantees success across your intensive operation. That enormous breast size brings a serious mechanical problem that directly affects producers seeking independence on their homesteads. The physical shape of the commercial white turkey completely prevents it from mating naturally. The tom simply cannot mount the hen because his oversized chest blocks the physical contact required for successful fertilization. Consequently, reproduction for this specific genetic line relies entirely on artificial insemination performed in large commercial breeding facilities. As a small-scale producer, this means you cannot keep a flock sire and a few hens to hatch your own replacement poults each year. You become entirely dependent on purchasing day-old chicks from a hatchery whenever you want to start a new flock rotation. Furthermore, the commercial turkey hen lacks any reliable maternal instinct. She has been selectively bred over decades to lay a continuous supply of premium-grade eggs, but she will never sit on a nest to incubate them. Essentially, this bird is designed to function as the final link in an industrial meat production chain, nullifying any possibility of maintaining a closed, autonomous breeding cycle on your property. This limitation is a crucial factor to carefully consider before investing your initial capital. In stark contrast to that absolute industrial model, the heritage black turkey offers a sustainable alternative based on genuine biological autonomy. This rustic bird maintains an agile, balanced body structure practically identical to that of its wild ancestors. A vigorous heritage tom can effectively cover a group of 10 to 12 hens throughout the entire breeding season, guaranteeing a high rate of fertile eggs without requiring any human intervention. The heritage hen is an exceptional mother. She will instinctively build a nest, incubate her own clutch, and aggressively defend her offspring from opportunistic predators. She alleviates the demanding labor of brooding poults during those critical first weeks by teaching the young ones how to actively forage for insects in fresh pasture. However, you must understand that its physical development is notably slow. You will need approximately 26 weeks of patience for the tom to reach a harvest weight hovering around 20 pounds. It requires a long-term perspective, but in return, it provides a completely independent flock that reproduces reliably year after year, freeing you from purchasing replacement stock from hatcheries. This approach represents intelligent, resilient farming designed for lasting stability season after season. Understanding how each breed processes nutrition is essential to avoid bankrupting your operation before the season ends. As previously established, the broad-breasted white thrives almost exclusively on an expensive formulated diet within confined spaces. If you turn a commercial turkey out to pasture expecting it to gain weight strictly by eating grass and bugs, it will suffer a rapid metabolic collapse. Its specialized genetics demand immediate, concentrated energy that natural forage simply cannot provide. Conversely, the heritage line possesses a robust digestive system perfectly adapted for intense rotational grazing. A heritage black turkey raised on open pasture can reduce your purchased feed costs by up to 30% because it is a relentless forager. It will walk miles every day searching for seeds, tender shoots, and protein-rich insects. Yet you must be careful not to fall into a common economic trap regarding time. Feeding a heritage turkey for 26 consecutive weeks, even if it consumes less grain daily, will eventually accumulate a total feed bill quite similar to raising a commercial bird to 45 pounds in a much shorter time frame. You must calculate your expenses accurately before you rush to expand your outdoor operations. This specific growth timeline is where the black turkey truly distinguishes itself from its white commercial counterpart. The meat harvested from an industrial bird is undeniably voluminous and yields excellent large cuts, but its overall flavor profile is noticeably mild due to the rapid maturation process it undergoes. It serves as the ideal option for mass markets prioritizing affordable bulk protein. In stark contrast, a rustic turkey that has actively roamed under the sun for 6 full months develops a fundamentally different muscular composition. Its meat features a deep dark color, a much firmer texture, and a complex flavor profile that culinary experts often describe as spectacular. A producer dedicating limited resources to raising this pastured bird cannot compete on price against massive, highly automated industrial warehouses. Instead, the business model relies entirely on marketing an exclusive product for holiday seasons, targeting discerning consumers who prioritize animal welfare and are willing to pay a premium for pasture-raised poultry. The secret to profitability with the heritage breed lies in finding that specific niche buyer and educating them on the tangible value behind your labor-intensive farming methods. This dedicated market remains remarkably loyal and highly profitable over time. There is a very common pitfall among producers just starting their journey in poultry farming across the country. Many believe they can harness the best traits of both genetic backgrounds by crossing a rustic tom with a fast-growing commercial hen. In theory, they assume this pairing will yield a vigorous poult that fattens quickly without succumbing to environmental stress. However, avian biology rarely operates with such predictable simplicity. When performing a genetically incompatible cross between a balanced heritage breed and an extreme terminal hybrid, the outcome is typically disastrous and financially draining. A poult might inherit the voracious appetite and accelerated metabolism of the commercial parent, but it will combine these traits with a deficient bone structure from the rustic line. This results in weak legs incapable of supporting rapid muscle mass accumulation, causing the animal to collapse from joint failure long before reaching its intended harvest date. Another specimen might grow slowly like a heritage bird, but retain the immense feed consumption of the commercial phenotype, effectively destroying your feed conversion ratio. You lose the distinct foraging advantages of the rustic breed while sacrificing commercial growth speed entirely. Taking a closer look at internal anatomy reveals exactly why attempting to cross-manage these distinct lines always ends in operational failure. The gizzard of a heritage turkey develops into a highly muscular, thick-walled organ designed to grind tough, fibrous materials, intact seeds, and hard exoskeletons encountered during daily foraging. This internal development requires early exposure to insoluble grit and varied terrain to function correctly. When a heritage black turkey ingests pasture, its digestive tract efficiently ferments the cellulose, extracting vital nutrients that commercial birds simply pass as waste. Conversely, the broad-breasted white possesses a comparatively underdeveloped gizzard and a much shorter intestinal tract tailored strictly for processing highly digestible pelleted feed. Their internal organs are entirely specialized for rapid nutrient absorption rather than breakdown. Forcing commercial birds to subsist on a high-fiber pasture diet not only starves them of necessary calories but physically impacts their digestive systems, leading to fatal crop impactions. As a producer, you must respect these structural limitations. Modifying their environment to suit an incompatible biological makeup guarantees severe health issues and devastating financial losses across your entire production cycle every single season. Evaluating the spatial requirements for each genetic line is another critical step that producers frequently miscalculate during their initial farm planning phase. The commercial broad-breasted white turkey demands a highly structured indoor environment where square footage is meticulously managed to optimize growth rates while preventing deadly overcrowding. Because these heavy birds spend their entire short lives indoors, the barn must feature robust ventilation systems to constantly remove the massive amounts of ammonia gas generated by their high-protein diets. Managing this intense indoor environment requires significant daily labor and a continuous supply of clean bedding material to keep the flock healthy and comfortable. Conversely, raising the heritage black turkey shifts the spatial focus entirely toward the great outdoors. These active foragers require extensive pasture areas that must be rotated frequently to prevent soil degradation and parasite buildup. You'll need secure fencing systems, mobile roosting shelters, and reliable livestock guardian animals to protect your valuable flock from nocturnal predators. While the indoor infrastructure costs are lower, the sheer acreage and perimeter management required for a rustic flock demand a completely different type of daily physical exertion and land stewardship. The fundamental topic of animal health and immune system development stands as another critical dividing line, where these two birds exhibit massive differences in daily preventive management. The commercial broad-breasted white directs practically all its daily metabolic energy toward accelerating muscle growth, leaving its natural immune defenses incredibly weakened against common environmental challenges. This biological reality means that as a producer, you are required to maintain strict biosecurity protocols, applying rigorous vaccination programs while constantly monitoring every detail. A minor outbreak of a common soil pathogen can wipe out your entire barn in days because these heavy animals lack the stamina to fight infections. On the other hand, rustic lines like the heritage black turkey have forged an ironclad resilience through centuries of natural selection. By growing at a biologically appropriate pace, their bodies have the necessary time to internally develop a robust immune system. These heritage birds thrive exceptionally well outdoors, scratching in the dirt and exposing themselves to environmental microorganisms without constantly falling ill, drastically reducing your overall veterinary expenses and medication costs throughout the entire outdoor farming season. If you decide to venture into artificial incubation, the physiological differences from the very first day of embryonic life are immediately noticeable to any seasoned producer operating a hatchery. The eggs produced by the commercial white turkey require absolute environmental precision. If your incubator temperature fluctuates by just 1 degree Fahrenheit from the optimal 99.5 degrees, your late-stage embryonic mortality rate will skyrocket. It's a delicate process that forgives no operational errors and requires expensive equipment to ensure a successful hatch. In sharp contrast, the eggs laid by pastured heritage birds possess a naturally higher biological tolerance to those small, inevitable fluctuations in ambient temperature and internal humidity. They are designed by nature to perfectly withstand the brief cooling periods that occur when the mother hen leaves her nest to forage. When these rustic poults finally pip and break out of their dense eggshells, they are born with overflowing energetic vigor and incredible locomotor mobility from their first hours. They quickly begin searching for the feeder and waterer entirely on their own, demonstrating an unmatched survival instinct daily. Those crucial first 6 weeks of the brooding phase will definitively dictate the success or the resounding failure of your entire production season. Commercial white poults face a massive physiological challenge right out of the gate, as they struggle immensely to regulate their own body temperature during that initial startup phase inside your barn. You need to keep them under strict artificial brooders at a constant 95 degrees Fahrenheit, making absolutely sure there isn't even the slightest draft. A slight temperature drop during the night can cause them to completely stop eating, which severely stunts their growth trajectory and ruins your profit margins. Heritage black poults, however, develop their first true feathers with much greater speed, providing them with excellent thermal protection against early climate stress. This tremendous biological advantage allows you to lower the intensity of your artificial brooders much earlier, saving you significant money on electricity. Even with this rustic advantage, you must remember that no poult can remain healthy on wet bedding. Maintaining impeccably dry pine shavings is an unbreakable rule you must enforce strictly to prevent severe footpad infections. Managing a dedicated breeding flock to keep your genetic line active requires a deep understanding of the bird's complex social dynamics. If you choose to keep adult heritage black breeders, you will have to pay close attention to how the mature toms interact with each other on a daily basis. A dominant flock sire needs sufficient open space to establish his territory and physically assert his natural hierarchy long before the active mating season even begins. You must proactively rotate their paddocks and provide ample shelters so that subordinate birds do not suffer fatal aggression from the undisputed flock leader. This management strategy requires you to walk your pens, observe your animals with patience, and genuinely understand their instinctual behaviors. All this management effort pays off completely when you establish a robust flock that provides vigorous poults year after year without relying on external hatcheries. With the commercial turkey, this entire behavioral dynamic simply doesn't exist because their final destination is rapid processing. There are no complex hierarchies, just a passive flock gaining pounds indoors, entirely eliminating the constant need for behavioral management. Before scaling up your operation, you must carefully evaluate your processing infrastructure and the physical labor required for harvesting these distinctly different birds. Processing a massive commercial white turkey demands heavy-duty equipment. Lifting a 45-pound carcass into a scalder and maneuvering it through a mechanical plucker takes a significant physical toll on the farmer. Their sheer bulk often requires specialized extra-large packaging and dedicated freezer space that can quickly overwhelm a small homestead setup if you aren't fully prepared for the immense volume. Heritage turkeys, maxing out around 20 pounds, are significantly easier to handle during harvest day, fitting comfortably into standard poultry processing equipment and typical consumer ovens. However, their dark pin feathers can sometimes leave a slightly speckled appearance on the dressed skin, requiring extra attention to detail during the plucking phase to present a pristine product. You must educate your premium buyers that this natural pigmentation is a hallmark of a genuine heritage bird. Balancing these practical harvest realities against your available farm labor and processing capabilities will determine which genetic path ensures a smooth, profitable operation every single production season. Choosing between the incredibly rapid growth of the commercial white turkey and the unmatched resilience of the heritage blackbird completely defines the economic future of your farm. There are no inherently bad options, only vastly different management strategies demanding your full daily commitment. If you have enclosed facilities, reliable markets, and want to produce massive pounds of meat quickly, the commercial line is absolutely unbeatable, provided you strictly respect its rigorous nutritional demands and biosecurity needs. However, if you truly value total operational independence, open pasture foraging, and want to offer premium meat with an unparalleled flavor profile, robust heritage birds will unequivocally guarantee your lasting agricultural success year after year. Your daily farming environment and specific personal goals dictate this vital choice. Let me know down in the comments which of these options makes the most sense for your setup. If you got some value out of this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up so we can keep bringing you practical poultry advice. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.